Carl in Chicago. Hey, Carl, what's on your mind today?
Hi. Yeah, I just want, from a global perspective and a nonpartisan point of view, I would like to get a clarification. Is taking over a company and disassembling the company and taking their pension benefits away from them, disassembling the company, sending it over to China, reassembling the company, hiring Chinese workers for 99 cents an hour, and making an extreme amount of profit. If there's nothing illegal about that, there should be.
Yeah.
But if there is nothing illegal about it, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Unless our government stands up and says, we're going to change this, because a side note, the average hourly wage in Germany is $57 an hour.
Right.
And Germany protects its own industries.
Yes.
And the United States, if there is no law against what's going on, you know what? Then let's let it go rampant. Let's hit the iceberg, and then have our government say, oh, maybe we better make some laws to change this, because we're slowly sinking, and there's nothing illegal to stop it from happening.
Yeah, we are. And the way the Hindenburg fell out of the sky. Carl, excellent point. We used to make it used to be that it wasn't illegal, it was just expensive. And this is what Alexander Hamilton came up with back in 1791. Actually, it was 1791 when George Washington asked him to come up with it, first year of the Washington administration. 1793 when he actually proposed it to Congress. And it was Alexander Hamilton's 11-point plan for American manufacture. Translated into modern English, 11-point plan to build American manufacturing. And the very first one was tariffs. And I lay the thing out. In fact, I reprint large parts of it in my book, Rebooting the American Dream. And he was, here's how you do it. And by the way, it wasn't something Alexander Hamilton invented. He was following King Henry V, the Tudor king, the first Tudor king, who in like 14-something, in the mid-1400s, had come up with this plan. Who, by the way, wasn't the first to come up with it. He was imitating what the Dutch had been doing a couple hundred years before that, who weren't the first to come up with it. I mean, the countries had been protecting their own domestic industries forever, as long as there'd been countries. And we did this from the George Washington administration until the Ronald Reagan administration. And then we started systematically taking it apart. And 30 years now of Reaganomics and insane free trade policies embraced by both parties, frankly, have devastated us. And I am very, very hopeful that, particularly now that Romney's coming out and saying he's going to bash China, that it's becoming fashionable to talk about trade. I don't see China as the villain in this. I see us as the villain in this. We did away with our own laws that protected our industry in the United States. We need to go back to, we had an average tariff in the United States of around 30% from the time of George Washington until the time of Ronald Reagan. We need to go back to that. So it's not illegal to take a factory like they're doing with Sensata right now, break it down, ship the parts over to a foreign country, and reassemble it in a low-wage country. It's not illegal, but it's so expensive, you'd be stupid to do it. That's what we need to do. And that, by the way, is the legislation, the very legislation that the Democrats in the House of Representatives, when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House, the first 2 years of the Obama administration, they put together a piece of legislation. Now, this was after the 2 months and 1 day that the Democrats actually controlled the Senate. And then Scott Brown got sworn into office, and all of a sudden the Democrats, they still had a majority in the Senate, but they didn't have a filibuster-proof majority. And Harry Reid has had to deal with over 300 and some odd, over 350 filibusters, same period of time that Lyndon Johnson was Speaker or was the Senate Majority Leader. He dealt with one in a 6-year period. Harry Reid over 300 Republican filibusters. So anyhow, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats put together this legislation, a lot of input from the Progressive Caucus, Jan Schakowsky, some great people out there saying, okay, let's do away with the tax breaks that like Bain is getting right now for shipping Sensata over to China. They're actually able to deduct from their income taxes all the expenses associated with shipping that company offshore. And then they're able to, and so let's do away with that. Then they're able to keep their profits offshore so they can have, Bain China take a product that it costs $1 to manufacture and that ends up retailing in the United States for 10, They could either sell it to themselves for $1 or they could sell it to themselves for $10. If they sell it to themselves from China to the U.S. for $1, then the $9 profit shows up here in the U.S., and they have to pay U.S. taxes on it. But if they sell that product to themselves from China to the United States for $10, then the $9 profit stays in China, it stays offshore, and they don't have to pay U.S. taxes on it. There's $1.5 trillion at minimum, maybe as much as could even be as much as $5 trillion in corporate profits stashed offshore right now, just, because they can. So the Democrats came up with legislation that would stop that. And then, all the costs associated with bringing that product back to the United States, paying for the shipping to transport all the way to the United States, all that kind of stuff, that's all tax deductible. Let's do away with that. These aren't even tariff positions, right? I mean, I am personally a fan of tariffs. I think we should go back to what Alexander Hamilton put in place that built this country, that stood for 200 years until Reagan started taking it apart. I think we should do that. But if you're not going to do that, at the very least, stop giving tax breaks to companies that are shipping jobs offshore. It passed the House of Representatives when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker. It passed, and they sent it to the Senate, and it had more than 50 votes in the Senate, which according to the Constitution means it passed the Senate. But because of the Senate rules, the Republicans filibustered it. This was now, keep in mind, this was 2 years ago. The Republicans filibustered it, and you know why? Because it would have started the jobs coming back home. And if that had happened 2 years ago, if the jobs had come back home 2 years ago, you'd have, unemployment down to 5-6% right now. And Barack Obama would be sailing to re-election. And when those guys met at the Caucus Room restaurant the night of the inauguration, they met with a very clear intention of bringing down our economy in order to bring down our president. Paul Ryan included was there.